What's up? Welcome to the Jared Williams Show. My name is Jared. This is Joel. Today, we are cruising the comments. We're going to go through all our past comments and get all your guys' questions answered, top to bottom. But first, how you doing, Joel?
Doing great. Doing real good.
Just not good, but real good?
Real good.
Why are you real good?
No idea.
No idea.
Just a choice I make, you know?
Just decided to talk like a Western man today.
Real good. Is that how Western people talk? Like,
I would imagine.
back in the day?
Like you got your gun. What kind of gun did they use? That's what I want to know.
Probably like a, Glock.
I mean, they had revolvers, but I don't know, like.
I think it was like Colts.
Colt what? But like, what did they shoot?
Colt revolver. I don't know. I think it's like in between calibers because, like, I don't even know how they probably like made their own bullets. I don't know, man. I don't know what they did back then.
I don't know either.
I was just thinking this. I was like, how do we really know what they sounded like? We only have the videos. What if they were like, I'm going to go out.
We still have the guns.
I'm going to go out. No, not the guns, like the people, because I was like, I'm talking like, oh, West. What if they were just like, I'm going to go out west and this is how we all sound?
There's probably some.
No, every one of them sounded that way.
It's impossible.
Yeah, you're probably right.
What cracks me up about today's podcast is you come in here and you have no idea what we're doing.
Yeah, but that's kind of typical.
You don't even know what we're talking about.
Yeah, but I usually don't know what we're talking about.
And I did all this pre-work for you.
I know. Usually I do the pre-work, but I don't pay attention to it, and I give it to you and pretend like I don't know what we're talking about. Today's completely different.
All right. Okay. I got literally 1, 2, 3 pages of comments. Some of these you're really going to have to squint to read. And I could have blown them up, and I was like, nah, Joel's reading them.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's okay. I'm a good reader.
Good thing you got your glasses. But
yeah, good thing. Should I
we're gonna go through. We're gonna read. You're gonna want to make sure and talk in the mic when you read those, BTW.
I don't want to.
We're gonna read through the comments. You see the tiny ones?
Oh yeah.
You can read them though.
Yeah. Dude, I got eyes like an eagle. I got eagle eyes.
When you have your glasses on?
Yeah.
How is your vision?
Not terrible. I can see you.
Let me see your glasses.
Nope. They're right here. Here, yeah, put them on.
So my vision's not perfect, but oh gosh, dude, no way.
Can't even put them on? Man.
Give me a headache.
You see too well.
That's like not drinking coffee in the morning.
Oh, dude, that's rough.
Okay, let's roll through these things.
Okay, you ready? I'm just gonna go out random. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Then I have to remember where I
got
went.
a pen. You can mark it off.
No way.
If you want to go out
That
random.
is not. No, I'm not trying to do that. Okay. Do you want me to say who they're from?
Yeah. Feel free to put in your 2 cents on these too.
We'll see.
I didn't read any of them. I just saw question mark and I put it on there.
Oh, nice. Nice. Okay. First question from Performance HVAC 6629. Would the strategy for growing an HVAC business look that different? More stuff to break, warranties, needing help on installs? Question mark.
Why you read it like a robot, dude?
That's how people read questions, like robots. Haven't you ever heard the AI robots? I was just doing my best to approximate a robot.
That was a perfect. I don't know if anybody listened to the last podcast when we talked about.
Maybe
we used to film intros for these.
Maybe it's in the comments.
Maybe, I doubt it. And Joel would have a line to say.
Would the strategy for
That's
growing
how he
a
would say
HVAC
it.
business look that
He would say his
different?
line.
More stuff to break, warranties, needing help on installs? Question mark.
Okay, yeah, it's totally the same. It's identical.
Exactly identical.
It's exactly identical.
Everything. Well, yeah, we got HVAC guys in our course.
I mean, I didn't do HVAC specifically, like air conditioners and things like that, but we did, heating in Alaska with my plumbing business. It was plumbing and heating.
Like, what's the biggest, I'm asking this question. Everybody probably knows this question, the answer to this question already, but what's the biggest difference between the two? Like, because people ask this question either on calls that I take or in comments like this, like, what is the primary difference?
As far as like the business goes, it's identical.
Okay.
It's the exact same business. The only thing with the difference is like plumbing, you're looking at you're going and you're making money on your service calls, right? And I feel like plumbers have a better understanding of that. So like plumbers, their big ticket items are water heaters, maybe pressure tanks, water pumps, and drain replacements.
Okay.
Right? Or every now and then they'll have to like cut up some concrete and replace a drain in the house or something like that. So you're actively looking for those things. For HVAC guys, their big ticket items are equipment replacement,
Gotcha.
right? And so, and there's in the HVAC world, there's a lot of sales heavy business models.
Sure. Like trying to get to those system replacements, essentially.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So basically, doing everything under margin, not hitting margins on work, just to get the opportunity to sell a new piece of equipment.
Yeah. So coming in and just giving stuff away at cost, or just
and then
free stuff, so that
selling
you can
at
look at
all
the system.
costs as well.
Yeah,
like
sure.
A very heavy sales driven company. And the problem with that I could have done that in Alaska.
Sure.
We could have replaced tons of boilers.
Yeah, because you have those high ticket things like a boiler.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I understand.
But the problem is when you go in, like when you do that, number one, you don't make money on the repair.
Seems.
And then you go in and sell them a new system, and then you just lost your customer.
Sure.
Until they need a repair, like for another 6 years. Not that they're not going to need anything, but they're not going to need very much.
Yeah.
Right. And then a lot of times these guys are selling free tune-ups with the install. And so now they're going and maintaining this equipment for free.
Yeah.
And it's like backwards business model in my mind. It's like, well, they have an air conditioner. It still works. Let's go in and sell them a factory refresh halfway through its lifespan.
Sure.
Let's do all the maintenance all the way up into the end of its lifespan. And when it goes kaputs, then sell them a new unit. Now you just made money off of the repairs, the factory refresh halfway through its lifespan, plus all the other repairs, plus the install.
Why is it that isn't, I don't know if it's not typical, maybe that's not the right word, but
It's not super typical, I don't think.
yeah, why is that?
People want to get that big sale.
So they want that money now.
Yep. I think that's where the money is. It's the same reason plumbers want just water heaters.
Yeah, sure, because they're
It's
like
the same thing.
They want that money now instead of looking at the lifetime value of the customer over however long.
Right.
Is there any home service business model that sort of what we've talked about wouldn't apply to?
As far as what?
It's just as far as like the normal content that you put out or the things that we talk about. Like I know there's going to be like slight mismatches, but is there any like home service business that is very, very different than what we talk about as far as like financial systems and all the things that we say wouldn't map?
No, it's pretty much all the same. And the gist of it is looking at like understanding how your P&L works. And then,
Wait, what?
Yeah. And then understanding
P and what?
The P and who?
Huh?
The PP?
I don't hire.
The PP what?
Is that a guy I hire?
Yeah.
Paul and Lanky?
Larry.
Paul and Larry. Two most important guys of your company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I should change my name. Paul Larry.
Paul Larry. My name's Paul Larry. You can call me P&L for short. Howdy. This is a Colt, by the way. Okay.
You said Colt. I thought you said cult. I was like, what?
It could be the Colt. What's your name?
Paul
Pete and Larry?
No, Paul Larry.
I like Pete and Larry.
My middle name is And.
I'm Pete and Larry.
You're an idiot.
How do you spell that? Well, it's Pete.
We got to cancel the show.
Pete and Larry.
Joel's come unhinged.
Pete and Larry, P&L's plumbing company.
There you go.
All right.
Terrible.
Okay. So they're all pretty much the same. They have the same guts, business
They all have
principles.
the same guts. Like when we talked about, I think on the last podcast, I always break a business down into 5 basic principles. It's the marketing or customer acquisition, right? Every home service business needs customers. How do we acquire them? And then it's, okay, every home service business, the customers are reaching out to them to get a service. How do we get them from the time they reach out to actually getting them booked on our schedule? And then there's a fulfillment process. How do we, or a fulfillment system, right? How do we take it from, okay, we're booked, to how do we fulfill on our promise to the customer? And then how do we follow up with our customers, whether we didn't sell them the work or we did sell them the work or whatever? How do we follow up with them and make sure we're doing a good job? How do we follow up with them and make sure we're selling? And then the financial system. How do we make sure that during that whole process, we're making money? And the differences between the businesses, it's going to be different fulfilling for like we just started a pressure washing company.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different fulfillment.
Sure, of course.
The gist of it is the same,
Yeah.
right? We're using the same software, or we're using different software, but it does the same thing.
Right.
So you're going to get a job on your schedule, and you're going to hit dispatch.
Mm-hmm. It's going to
You're
send
gonna
a
go out
picture
there.
of me and the bio of me to the person. I'm on my way over and all the
You're
stuff.
going to get there. You're going to knock on the door. You're
going
going
to
to
yell at them.
introduce yourself, say
yeah.
hello.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep. And you're going to confirm that, they wanted their house washed, and you're going to let them know, I'm just going to take some quick measurements, run around real quick, and then I'll knock on your door again, and I'll have some estimates for you. Mm-hmm. And then you're going to give them options. Mm-hmm. You're going to give them, I can wash your house for this much. Mm-hmm. I can wash your house and wash your windows for this much. And I can wash your house, your windows, and your driveway for this much. Mm-hmm. And if you want to save money, you can join our really cool membership plan. Mm-hmm. It's $99. It saves you this much money today. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. Like that, it's the exact same process.
Yeah.
So, but slightly different because you're selling pressure washing.
Yep.
Right. But the same thing.
Yep.
And so that goes with like any home service business, anything. Electricians, you're going to go there. You're going to look at the problem. You're going to make sure and diagnose the whole system. Make sure and look at their panel every time. Make sure and pull the cover off and check everything in there and make sure it's all up to code, and check the sub panel or the panel outside, and make sure the breakers are good, and make sure everything's voltage properly, and offer them options to fix their immediate needs, their future needs, and stuff that they could upgrade. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Same.
Same. All right, cool.
Pretty much. There will be slight tweaks in like the financial system.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Once you get down into like the efficiency of things, or even like
yeah.
Like we were looking when we were going through Sarah, getting that all set up for our CRM, and even just the whole idea of like with power washing, it's like, what was it? It wasn't materials, it was equipment, right? Like I don't have to keep track of the equipment at the person's house because I don't care. Like it's a house.
Yep.
Maybe I could like a big house or something like that, but I wouldn't even do that.
Yep.
Where it's like within the other worlds, you can keep track of their system age, what type of system it is, so then that the next technician has more information when they get dispatched to that job. And
also, you can market to those customers when
sure.
when their equipment is of age.
Yeah.
To get replaced.
Yeah. So you just have more information. So
yeah.
Okay.
The financial system is going to be slightly different though. As far as like we found it in pressure washing, there's like, the overhead is going to be different.
Of course.
So the margins you need to hit to cover overhead are going to be slightly different based on the business.
Yeah. Yeah. And the financial system seems like if you understand your P&L properly, then you'll be able to spot the wrinkles and what you need to do to adjust it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Two things everybody needs to track is time efficiency and material efficiency.
Yeah.
And if if you have your P&L and your time efficiency and your material efficiency, then you can go back and adjust your pricing for your business specifically.
Sure. Yeah, and if you don't have a P&L and you can't see those things.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You take your best guess.
Yeah.
You price yourself.
Yeah, of course.
You go run for a month. You look at your P&L, and then you go back and you adjust.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, feel good? Feel good about that one?
Uh-huh.
Okay, this is from Wall Yee.
Wall Yee?
Yep, 8713.
What's up, Wall Yee?
Yeah. Hey, man. That's how he would say it. He would sound like this, too. How do we figure our cost for the convenience? Smiley face. Factor in terms of offering on-site service.
You gotta read these better. I can't even understand that question.
Okay. Okay. How do we figure the cost for convenience? Oh, I understand. The smiley face is throwing me off. There's a smiley face in there. So this is how it's supposed to read. How do we figure the cost for the convenience factor in terms of offering on-site service?
How do we figure the cost of convenience factor of offering on-site service? That goes into tracking your time efficiency. Mm-hmm. So like when you go to somebody's house, there's a cost to going to their house.
Yeah.
You're going to include that travel time, the time that you spend going to their house. You're going to include that in whatever estimate you give them to fix whatever they have that's broken.
Yeah.
So, and this is actually something I've been thinking about a lot about lately is
Good job, Wall Yi 8713.
Yeah. So there's typically what we've done in my company is when we have what's called a surcharge, and the customer doesn't see a surcharge, but we're on Service Titan. The way Service Titan works is you can add a surcharge to all your tasks. So we would add it. We have typical like 20 minutes of drive time and 10 minutes of customer interaction time.
Is a surcharge just like a bonus charge that
It's just a bonus charge
you
that
put in
tack
there
on.
for your own reasons?
So you can tack it onto all of your services in your price book.
Okay.
And then you can also, when you build your pricing rules, you can build it so the second task, they subtract out the surcharge.
Yeah.
So the surcharge is only on one of your tasks.
Thinking that if you already drove there,
If you already drove
make
there,
sense to do drive time on the second one
correct.
when you task it like that.
Correct. So what this does is anytime you go to a home and you offer one thing where there's a repair that just has one item on the invoice, it bumps up the cost of that item quite a bit because you're trying to cover your drive time. And in theory, it makes sense. But if you, and like we want to sell as much time as possible, as much of our time as possible.
Yeah.
And then we also want to price our stuff so that we have maximum conversions and maximum profit.
Yeah, sure.
And so what I did is I went and looked at, for my plumbing business in Alaska, there were 2.24 tasks on every single job. So every single sold estimate on average had 2.24 tasks. That means we sold one drive time task, one non-drive time, and 0.24 non-drive time tasks.
Yep.
And I ran the math of what if we charge drive time on every task, right? We just we keep that 30 minutes drive time on every single task. Well, we would have sold, if you go look at how many jobs we did and do the math, it added like 1,600 hours over the year onto how many hours we would have sold total. So there's a couple different job time efficiencies, but when you factor in those extra sold hours into your efficiency, right? So when I add those in, our efficiency, and when I say efficiency, I mean, I'll call it, Service Titan calls what I would call job time efficiency billable efficiency, and I hate it. And I would call this metric billable efficiency, and I would call Service Titan's billable efficiency job time efficiency.
Okay.
But you can think of billable efficiency also as like global efficiency. So if you have 10 guys and they work 2,000 hours each, they're going to work 20,000 hours over the course of the year.
Right.
In your pricing, I would adjust for overtime. And then in all of your math that you do for your pricing, I would use 2,000 hours for each one of my guys. And then you factor in overtime in your actual hourly rate. So,
okay, gotcha.
So if I have 10 guys, 2,000 hours, that's 20,000 hours. If I have a 50% billable efficiency, they're billing out 10,000 of the hours of those hours, right? So they worked 20, billing 10. If you took that and added another, I don't know, I can't do math. Let's just add another 5,000 hours. Your billable efficiency goes from 50% to 75%.
Yeah.
What that does is it drives your hourly rate down. So, and it'll drive it down a lot because now you're 25% more efficient with your time. So what happened when I ran the numbers, we went from 62% billable efficiency to 78% billable efficiency. If we didn't have add-on tasks, put drive time on every single task, which would drive our hourly rate from $430 to $311. Which is a big difference.
Yeah, it's a huge difference.
And if you think about what happens, so a lot of the times the hardest jobs to convert are those single item jobs.
Sure.
When we go to a house for one small item,
yeah, you don't really have any options.
And the price is super high because we're trying to offset our billable efficiency with it, and we're trying to offset all our drive time with that one task instead of splitting up between all the tasks.
Okay, I see.
So if we split it up between all the tasks, all of a sudden these one-time tasks become slightly cheaper, easier to convert.
Okay.
We raise conversion rates, and our billable efficiency actually even goes up even more just because we're operating on a more efficient manner.
On those other tasks, though, that there's multiple ones, wouldn't, in like the, how do I put this? Wouldn't they become more expensive because you're adding
only
on time?
when you get over 2.24. Like any invoice that you put out that had 2.24 tasks on it, it would be the same as it was before.
Because that was your average? Okay. Yeah, so it sounds like you're essentially just adding time to all your work.
You're adding time to all your work, but then you're lowering your hourly rate because of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're going to sell more.
Yeah.
What you're really doing is just accounting for your time better.
Yeah, exactly. You're more accurately accounting for your time.
And your conversion rate is going to go up because of it. Is my guess. That's my theory.
Yeah, because like you said, you become cheaper on those one-time tasks that are harder to sell.
Yep.
And then because you're more efficient on those and you're just generally overall more efficient, then you don't have to be as expensive to hit the desired profit margins that you're going for.
Yep. So we're going to try it on Dude Wash.
Yeah.
What this also allows you to do is if somebody has to come back and do one of the other tasks, their drive time's built in.
Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, because before, if you, that's actually a better way to do it just because of that reason right there. Because if some reason you didn't get to task 2 or 3, and you had to come back the next day, then you're losing out on time. And actually, that's probably really, because that's probably not uncommon. I wouldn't say it's crazy common, but it definitely happens.
Or let's say you don't have this part on your truck, and now you sold 3 tasks, and you have an extra hour built in.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting.
But if you look at the numbers, like if you were to do that for a solid 6 months and look at the numbers and compare it to the previous 6 months, I guarantee you your conversion rates would be up. You would have sold more time. You would have made higher profit amounts. Your gross margin would go up, but you would have ran the same amount of jobs.
Yeah.
I guarantee it.
Yeah.
I almost 100% guarantee it. And so now, effectively what you did by doing that is you lowered your labor costs, you basically lowered your overhead costs, and you drove way more money to the top line, and because of that you drove a ton of it to the bottom line.
Yeah, just because you became more efficient.
Just because you became more efficient.
At the end of the day, you just became more efficient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing with service businesses that everybody forgets about.
Efficiency?
Yeah. Like you can raise prices.
Sure.
And a lot of people listening to this do need to raise prices.
Yeah, sure.
But you can only raise prices so far. Like just thinking about the future of the economy, right?
Yeah, sure, of course.
We're sitting in an election year. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
Well, some people know what's going to happen, Jared. Don't kid yourself.
People are being tighter with their money, right? They get
or they're putting off stuff till
putting
after
off
the
stuff.
election.
They're getting worried. They're holding on a little more. I think it's going to be a weird next 10 months.
Yeah.
10, maybe 12.
Yeah.
Like no matter who gets in, I think it's going to be a weird.
Yeah, it's going to be funky until the dust settles.
Next 12 months.
And then we decide how the economy, the country, the world proceeds forward.
Yeah. And the thing is so now we've had massive inflation over the last year.
No, I don't experience that.
Yeah, you don't experience it at all.
Zero.
Everything's just like
the exact
3
same
times the price.
It's actually better than it was.
I don't know what planet you live on.
I live in the planet that the media tells me I live on. Planet where it's better.
I know. They've been saying inflation is down. It's like...
Yeah, and everything's cheaper except for the stuff that's more expensive.
Except for everything that's more expensive, which is everything that you need in life.
Yeah.
Houses are more expensive. Interest rates are up. Cars are more expensive. Groceries are more expensive. And like the customers we're serving, they literally just don't have as much money anymore.
Right.
It's getting more expensive to run our business. And so we either have to raise prices.
Sure, to cover the costs.
Or we have to get more efficient. because you can because of the customer situation that we're in, we can only go up so high in our prices.
Yeah, of course. Before you start to lose enough efficiency that
you're going to start to
pushes back against your price raise.
This is what happens. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
You raise prices, conversion rates drop,
right?
Efficiency gets lower, and to offset the lack of efficiency, you then go back and you raise prices again.
Sure.
And the cycle continues.
Yeah.
But when you play the efficiency game, right? A lot of people listening to this just need to raise prices, like hands down. Like you can't play the efficiency game without knowing your numbers first.
Yeah, you still have to hit a certain gross profit amount. You can't be like, oh, Jared's telling me I can be $99 per hour and like get all the work and I knew I could do it.
No.
Because you won't hit your gross profit number if you do it that way.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you, instead of raising prices, you say, how do we be more efficient?
Yeah.
Right? And you increase efficiency. You run it for a month. You go look at the data. Conversion rates were up. And you're like, oh, we could actually go a little cheaper and raise conversion rates even more. Let's test it for a month. Well, conversion rates went up. We were actually cheaper and made more money. Let's see if we can do it again. And you'll find that spot where you have maximum conversions with maximum profit.
Yeah.
And that's the company that is going to win
in
the next few years.
Because they're going to be the ones who can actually fulfill at a high level because they're covering all their costs to do business well. But they're not going to be so expensive that they're not efficient enough to actually grow.
Right.
And they're not so cheap, quote unquote. Because what happens when you guys are really cheap is then they actually can't fulfill on the work at the level that they need to.
No money left over.
Yeah, they have no money to do anything.
Yeah.
Like they're just stuck. They actually can't get enough work because they can't market properly. They can't actually take care of their customers, all those things. So then the guy who's actually being efficient gets to not only make money, he gets to grow through a tumultuous time, we'll say.
Yep.
Cool.
Yes. I don't remember what the question was, but hopefully we answered it.
It was a pricing question. Essentially, like, how do you price for... I interpreted the question as like, how do you price for like being there fast or like answering your phone? But it's just kind of like, this is just the general way you price a business. Like all those things are factored into your price.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Alexis Jones, X1M. I would love to learn more about the relationship between the CSR and the plumbers. How to foster a good relationship.
Commission structure.
Heck yeah.
But so it's, and we talked about this a lot lately, but it's
I think it's like the coolest idea that I've ever like encountered thus far.
It's the commission structure that motivates the technicians to want to produce more revenue so their paycheck gets bigger. And then it's the commission structure for the CSR for them to want to make more money on their paycheck as well.
Yeah.
But then when you design those so that they work together in unison, so that the technician and the CSR are on the same page, they're working towards the same goal.
Yep.
And that when one does better, the other one does better.
Yep.
So when they both work together, they both do better.
Yep.
i.e. their paychecks are bigger.
Yeah.
That's what you want to design. So the way that we did it that ended up working out really well for us was the technician gets he gets 10% commission on anything over 10,000
in a week.
And you have to design this for how much you pay your plumbers.
And this is for your business.
Yeah.
This isn't like everybody should do it for these exact same numbers.
No.
Like you have to look at your own business.
Yeah. Put this in a spreadsheet and plan it out.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep your labor costs below 20%.
20% on your P&L, right?
20%, well, 25% on your P&L, direct labor costs under 20.
Okay, gotcha.
That extra 5% is there for benefits and things like that.
Gotcha.
So what you want to do is the direct costs on their paycheck with their taxes, you want them to keep them below 20% of the revenue that they produced. You can map this out on a spreadsheet, and you can have it so that you can change the variable of what their threshold is. Okay, so
where they start receiving bonuses?
Where they start receiving commission.
Yeah, sure.
And so, and you want to find it where when they hit whatever number they hit, when they hit it, they're at 20%.
Okay.
And what this does is it gives some accountability, like right off the bat.
Yeah, sure, because now you have a clean expectation of performance.
Clean expectation. This is what we expect out of you. In fact, when you hit this, you start getting 10% commission.
Yeah.
Because anything after that we end up making more money. We gain efficiency.
Sure.
And so we're willing to pass some of that extra money on to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you can make unlimited amounts of money at my company.
Yeah.
The more you produce, the bigger your paycheck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It also, so now they have accountability. They know exactly the minimum you expect.
Mm-hmm.
And then it incentivizes them to do better because their paycheck is bigger. And
Is their paycheck get like significantly bigger?
it can, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like we had a guy, he had an $8,000 paycheck
Per week?
in 1 week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like real money.
When I put this in place, we let it roll for a month,
Mhm.
had the highest net profit margins on record for my company. And I flew back to Alaska and I asked every single one of my guys, did you make more money last month?
Mm-hmm.
And they were all like, they kind of felt bad. And they were like, yeah, did the
it
company
work?
do okay?
Did it work, or did we just like work ourselves out of a job?
Yeah. And I was like, no, we made more money than we've ever made. And so it worked for both people. It worked for the technician and it works for me. It's a great commission structure.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you've got your technicians taken care of.
Yep.
They're focused on driving revenue. Okay. Now, if you don't marry it with your CSRs, what you're going to get is technicians that get pissed at your CSR for scheduling the wrong job.
Yeah.
or
Just making mistakes.
making a mistake or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And there's you kind of get a little bit of it like right off the bat, because if they come in and cause a problem with your CSRs, you can show them like, hey, when you talk bad to the CSRs, do you think that's going to help you get a good job on your schedule?
Yeah, do you think they're going to honor the way that you treat them by rewarding you?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
They're
likely,
human.
It's likely not going to happen.
Best case scenario, they're going to go, I'm going to be absolutely neutral and not try to help this guy out at all.
Right. And so we implemented that technician commission structure before we implemented the CSR structure. And we saw an uptick in their relationship.
Yeah.
And so then what we implemented was the way that we discount. So we don't allow discounts in the field. And
What gave you that idea?
what?
The discount, CSR, commission structure, no discounts in the field. Like that whole package. Like where did that idea come from?
Because we were testing discounts in the field for a couple months. We tested running week on, week off promotions.
Right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And it worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem was we were giving promotions before we knew that we hit our minimum revenue numbers.
So you were actually just slowing your own growth.
And so it proved to me that we actually did really well during those months, but it proved to me that promotions work.
Yeah,
like giving the
that's
discount
important.
works.
Yeah.
And that we can sell more work by offering discounts. But if we offer a discount and we didn't hit our break-even number yet, right, then we're losing money.
Yeah.
And so I thought, okay, well, how do we make it so that we don't lose money?
Never lose money.
Never lose money. And so you should know like your daily, weekly, monthly break-even numbers off the top of your head. Or at least your GM should. Somebody in your company should know those numbers,
Yeah,
right?
somebody who's tasked with paying attention to the business should know that.
Because if you've hit your daily revenue goal, for you to hit your monthly revenue goal on the time that you want to hit it, it's like, and somebody calls in and they're like, hey, I'm at this lady's house and she doesn't have any money and she has 3 kids and her heat's out. It's like, I mean, we'd probably say take care of her anyway, no matter what, but it makes that decision way easier when you're like, we already hit our goal, so just take care of her.
Yeah.
Or if it's like, hey, I'm at this water heater. What do you want me to do? We can sell it, but he only has $3,800 and it's priced at $3,900 in our price book.
Yeah.
Might be better to say, yeah, we'll give it to him for 39 or 38. So I would know those daily, weekly, monthly break even. What we decided to do is we said the only discount technicians can give in the field is to sell a membership. So with our membership, you get 10% off.
At the time of service, correct?
At time of service. Yeah. So when you go to a home, it's always like, here's your options. Plus we have a membership. If you sign up today, it's $99 a year. You get all these benefits. Plus it takes this much money off your bill today. What do you want to do? we're just offering you a discount. Like, we know discounts sell. Then why would we offer any other discount beside our membership?
Yeah, sure.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because then your membership's already a discount, but it's also a revenue generator.
It's also a revenue generator. It's also holds customers,
customer retention
generator. Like, it's a great,
it's a thing.
it's a super good business
very
tool.
powerful.
So let's maximize the sales of that by saying, hey, the only discount you can give is that. With the CSRs, what we did is, okay, we have a monthly minimum revenue that we need to hit. Basically, this number, when we hit it, we've covered all our expenses for the month. We have bought our technician labor, we've bought our overhead, we've paid for our CSRs.
So you made payroll. You made all those things that stress people out, like not being able to make payroll,
everything.
All that kind of stuff.
Everything's paid for.
All your bills are paid. Yeah,
including materials.
Fancy. How do you project? Oh, because you just look at historical data, right?
We would just say, okay, 2022.
Right.
We would actually look last 12 months trailing.
Yeah.
Total cost to run our business was this.
Yeah, sure.
Divided by 12.
Boom. There you go.
Boom.
So so everything's factored in there.
Yep. Everything.
Obviously, there's going to be some wiggle in there, but
so anything you bill out after that number is 80% profit.
Sure.
All you have to pay is materials, and typically materials are about 20%.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
So
at the time of doing those services after you hit your break even.
Yeah, everything is 80% net profit.
Yeah, because you've already covered everything. So it's like, yeah, you keep all the money except for just the materials that you bill out.
Yep.
Yeah, I understand.
So what we should be doing is going, at that point, we go back and we contact all the unsold estimates.
Oh, like the CSRs do that?
The CSRs do.
Okay.
And when they sell them, when we go do those jobs, we're at 80% net margins because the technician labor is already covered.
Yeah.
The overhead for the company is already covered.
Yeah.
CSRs are already covered. The only thing that's not covered is the materials we buy for that job.
Yeah.
We've even already gone to that customer's home and spent time there giving them an estimate and all that stuff.
So you're going to gain efficiency on this.
We're
go
gonna
finish the work.
So when we sell these, we're super efficient on them and we're super profitable on them. So we call them back and we offer a 15% discount to get it done before the end of the month. So we run an end of month promotion that starts on the day of break even.
Yeah. So if you broke even on like the second week, you start rolling that out.
Yeah.
And so what does that do like for the CSRs and the technicians relationship?
Well, so that's the second part of what we implemented after we implemented the commission. And then I was sitting there thinking, and I'm like, how do we incentivize the CSRs to want to get to that point as fast as possible, right? Because we have the technicians are kind of incentivized to work with our CSRs, but now it's like, I want to incentivize the CSRs to actually help our technicians. Because a lot of the times your CSRs can get, mad or angry or bitter at your technicians. Yeah. What we really want them to do is be like, how do I help you achieve your goal so I can achieve my goal, which is the same goal across the board.
And that goal is make more money?
Drive revenue and customer satisfaction.
Okay, gotcha.
At the same time.
Company goals, yeah.
Yeah. So we started giving them 5% on anything that they convert after break even. So they keep track of what they converted and they get a commission of 5%.
Anything? Like what
Anything.
What if it was like a brand new job? Like a
No. Just jobs where they call back unsold estimates.
Just unsold estimates.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So new jobs, it's all same.
Yep.
But I guess every opportunity for a new job can turn into a follow-up conversation.
Yeah. So
Okay,
any
cool.
new
Okay,
job,
sure.
the technician still goes out, bids at full price,
Yep.
only discounts on membership, just like always.
Yep. And if he sells it in the field, easy peasy. If he doesn't sell it in the field,
Next day, CSR is following
like,
up
"Oh,
and
man."
saying, hey, we're just started up our end of month promotion. We're giving 15%
gotcha.
off. Would you like to get this work scheduled and done?
Do you have any numbers of like the extra income the CSRs pulled in by doing that?
It's a lot.
Is it really?
Yeah, because what ends up happening is it's usually the jobs that are higher dollar jobs
Sure, that they got
that you went to the customer's house and they were just not ready to spend that money or not totally serious about getting done, and they thought, I'll just wait. Well, when you say they can get 15% off and it's a high dollar job and it knocks a lot of money off of their ticket, but they got to do it now.
Yeah, because the time's ticking.
And if they wait, it's going to cost them more. You just bump them over the edge.
Yeah,
It's not even a hard sell.
Yeah.
It sells itself.
Yeah.
Right. So it brings in a lot of revenue. Like we had record months after we put this in.
Yeah.
Now, because the CSRs are getting a 5% commission on anything that they turn over, they want to get to that break-even point as fast as possible.
Because that's when they can start making extra
Because that's
money.
when they can start calling customers
That's when
back.
their commission starts to kick in.
Right. So now in the beginning of the month, they're like, okay, how do I get these plumbers the best jobs? And how do I make sure that the right guy is on the right job so that we can hit our revenue numbers?
And do whatever. And there's probably other things that they're problem solving through that that you aren't necessarily aware of that they're doing to optimize the experience for everybody.
And the technicians know that the CSR is now trying to help them out as much as possible.
Sure.
Because they're incentivized to go back and do those. And from the technician side, and you have to explain this to both parties.
Yeah, so that they know that they're on the same team and how they can affect the outcomes of each other.
Yeah. So you need to tell your technician, look, they're going to go back and start selling jobs for you that you've already bid that you can be super efficient on, and your paychecks are going to be huge when they get to that point. So if you work with them in the beginning of the month to hit these revenue goals as soon as possible, and if you sell better out in the field, the sooner they're going to be able to start going and call back. And so everybody's working together to make this thing happen, and it restarts at the beginning of the month.
So then
And so for 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, typically everybody's just working together to hit this revenue goal. And then the second you hit it, the CSRs are like, sweet, let's start calling back. And then your technicians are flooded with jobs that they don't have to go sell. And everybody makes more money. The technician makes more money. The customer gets a discount. The CSR makes more money. And the business owner makes more profit.
Yeah.
It's a good system.
And then like coming back to this question where it's like, it really helps relational issues between the CSRs and the plumbers because they're both angling towards the same things. And sort of like you alluded to already that, if you got a technician who is not very nice to the CSR, the CSR then is not incentivized to throw them good jobs.
Nope.
Because, well, he's being an ass.
And when she goes and calls back, guess whose job she's not going to call back on?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got to get along.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I think it's been such like an eye-opening idea to me, the commission structures and how they influence culture. And I think it's so cool because for so long, we talk about this a lot, but it's worth talking about over and over is because we want to solve culture with like I was just talking to an old coworker of mine.
Donuts.
Well, free donuts, but then even like a layer beneath that is just like really solid leadership where the leaders really care about their guys. They're mentoring them. They're pouring into them. They want them to be the best humans they can possibly be.
Which is fine.
Yeah, that's not a bad thing.
That's literally the hardest way to affect culture.
Yeah, and honestly, it's not going to change the lives of the people you're working with as much as you would think.
No.
Like what changes the lives of the people that you're working with and your employees is them making more money.
Well, yeah, you got to remember why they're there.
Yeah, they're not there to become good people.
Most people are at work. They show up to work every day because they want to go to work, feel important, do a good job, and make lots of money.
Yeah. And then go home and do whatever they want with their life.
Yeah. And so the leader, the best thing he can do is put them in a system that helps make that happen for them.
Yeah.
If you create a system where they can show up every day, it's easy to feel important. It's easy to earn extra money in your paycheck. Everybody is trying to help you do that. All of a sudden, that person is going to thrive in your company where he didn't in somebody else's.
Yeah, man, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's just because it takes care of so many personnel. Because this is like in companies, everybody wants to feel like they're really important. And well, if I'm a CSR, I'm like, well, without me, the techs wouldn't even have jobs to go to. And the technician would go like, well, without me, nobody would be here. And so everybody gets in their camps of self-importance. But if you take all that away and you say, hey, listen, if you guys work together, then everybody makes more money.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, like real money? Like, yeah, like significant money. And they're like, oh, so it means if I'm actually nice and I care about what I do, it'll affect my life? And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
And they're like, I think I want to do that. And you're like, yeah.
Yep.
And then do you think that now leadership's role, management's role becomes easier?
So much easier.
Yeah.
The business starts to manage itself.
Yeah.
So the only thing you really have to do is like when you get somebody, number one, if somebody steps out of the system, you got to bump them back in. And then number two, if you have somebody in the system and they're still a grump or they're unhappy or they're unwilling to follow your system, you got to get rid of them.
Yeah. And the system that we talked about already gives you like a threshold to get rid of them.
Yep.
Even if they're super nice, they're super awesome, but let's say they just suck at the job and they never get better. Sorry, bud.
If you leave that person in, everybody else is going to feel like they're putting forth a ton of effort and that guy's still getting paid.
Yeah.
Like, why is he here? He's just costing us money.
And people kind of already feel that way anyway. But this way, there's transparency that validates that feeling.
Yep. So we started posting also live for everybody to see how much revenue everybody's brought in.
Oh, man, that's so cool.
For the week.
I think that's helpful, I think, for your higher caliber players because that gives them a stat to track. Like, again, it turns work into a fun game that working together as a team gets you more wins. And then
there's 2 stats you want to track for your techs. There's revenue and job time efficiency.
Sure.
And you tell them if you want to produce more revenue and have a bigger paycheck, increase your job time efficiency.
Yeah, sure. Do a better job. Make less mistakes. Don't waste as many materials. All that type of stuff. Calculate your hours properly. Be realistic with how long things are going to take.
Estimate your jobs properly.
Yeah,
that's really what it boils.
Yeah, sure. Because all those other things will sort of happen from time to time, anyways.
Yeah. It's a cool one.
Yeah, I mean, again, and like when the system's in place, then the management, like you said, he just kind of sits there and oversees. And then I would say that there should be. That this might be you, but then I think it helps to have one layer above that who is like in your position, who's looking over the system in general and going, okay, this is cool, but what if we introduced this?
Yeah.
And then that person then goes to the manager, the general manager will say and say, hey, we're going to roll this out. Tell me what you think.
Yep.
And then there's always this person who's got the maximum visibility on the system as it goes.
Yep.
And then there's different layers of that management. And if it works, then the management's job is pretty easy.
Yep.
They just kind of hang out and take care of some outline things, watch some certain metrics, and just keep the machine going. Yeah.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Yeah, cool. I love that. Okay. We're going to make it through these, man.
Are we?
We're almost off the first page, and it's only been almost an hour.
Word.
Okay. This is from Sergey Matevosian. Sorry about that, Sergey. 5261. He says, hey guys, congrats on the sale. Good luck on the next adventure.
Thank you.
I added that part, by the way. That was me. I wanted to know, how do you price larger jobs? With multiple guys, multiple days?
Multiple guys, multiple days. It's just like anything else, really. So what we do is we have service pricing, which for us, I believe we're trying to hit it's close to a 75% margin.
Okay.
Then we have our service pricing is 4 hours and under. And then we have anything that's 5 hours or more because our efficiency goes up. So if we sell on average 6 hours, our efficiency goes to 75%.
Because you're getting closer to eating up all of that 2,000 possible hours.
So if you just think about it in a day, if we sell 6
course.
hours in one day out of an 8-hour day, that's 75% efficient, right?
Yeah.
Versus if we only sell 4 hours, we're 50% efficient.
Right.
Okay. So we gained a 25% efficiency. We can actually lower our rates quite a bit.
So then you can get the job, but then
Yep.
your global efficiency will increase.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Also, if you think about the bigger jobs, you're typically more efficient on materials because it's not these little one-off things.
Sure.
It's typically a larger list of materials, and you're typically more efficient. So we don't mark up materials as much for those either.
Because you don't need to.
Because you don't need to.
Okay.
We also bump all of our water heaters, pressure tanks, water pumps, any large equipment that would typically we would fall in like the 3 to 4 hour range. We bump it into the 5 or 6 hour range to allow more time for the techs to do their thing. And then also it bumps it into that we basically have 3 price points, but the less material markup on water heaters makes sense. So like for service work, we'll mark up materials 300%. For water heaters, it's 150%. The reason is you're more efficient on equipment because it's the bulk of the material.
Right.
We might buy $1,000 water heater and have $200 of other parts. The only inefficiency on that is the $200 in parts. We nail the water heater efficiency
Of course, yeah.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have to mark up those as much to hit our margins. So by marking them up less, we basically pass that savings on to the customer, increase our conversion rates on those jobs. Just like we talked about before, that increases our efficiency even more, which increases gross margin, lowers our COGS, and we get more net.
Yeah.
So the install jobs we price completely different, because if you think about that, where you're on site for multiple days, we might be 90% efficient when we bid those. Typically we are. Also, those kind of like multi-day jobs, those ones are easy. Like we actually mark up materials on those 180% because it's a little easier to miss a portion of something, right? If you have a large job,
'cause it's a really big job,
and you forgot about materials on this other thing, or you open a wall and you run into this other thing, we want a little fluff in there to just be able to take care of those things.
And did you know that number just because you have the historical data?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
gotcha.
It's all based on historical data.
Okay.
So, but I mean, it would be a good starting point. If like service at 75% margin with 300% markup, install at, I think we're shooting for 60% margin at 180% markup. And then anything 5 hours and more, I think we're at a 65% margin with 150% markup.
Gotcha.
Those are our 3 price points.
How
And install would be like multi-day jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does it work when you have like multiple guys doing one job?
What do you mean?
Well, like if you have like 2 guys who are
Yeah.
going to be on the same job for
Yep.
the same thing, like how does that work?
As far as what?
Well, just like it's like you charge double because you got 2 guys there.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. An hour's an hour.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if there's 1 guy, 2 guys, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5 guys, 6 guys, 10 guys.
Yeah.
An hour is an hour. You got to get paid for the hour.
Yeah. So okay, gotcha. So if you got 2 guys there, you just double the price. You got 3 guys, you triple the price. Is that what you're saying?
No, we double the hours.
Yeah, double the hours. Yeah,
Yes.
sorry, that's what I mean. Because the materials are going to be the same.
Yep.
But
So
the
2
hours
guys
are
are
gonna be
there
different.
for 1 8-hour day. We bid it for 16 hours.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Man hours.
Man hours.
Yeah.
Okay, man hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
The only time you wouldn't do that is if you had an apprentice on payroll. That apprentice I would include in my overhead. So I would be so if I had an apprentice, I would put him in overhead because I don't think they contribute a whole lot to your COGS.
Sure.
And I would be shooting for a higher gross margin to make up for the inflated overhead of the apprentice.
Gotcha.
In which case he could float to whatever job.
Sure.
Doesn't matter how you bid it.
Yeah,
Right.
sure. Yeah, because everything's going to be accommodating his existence within the company.
Right. There are times where he's going to be on jobs that he's useful that make you money. I would consider that extra.
Sure. Yeah, you won.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked in your favor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes he's just going to be there being trained,
Yeah.
not making you
Potentially
money,
slowing things
costing you
down,
money.
costing you money.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. That's why.
Okay, cool. That was a good add-in. All right. Ooh, this is a small one. This is... Oh, dude, these guys and their names, man. We need more Bobs and Dans and Bills in these comments.
Yeah.
Goodness.
It's tough.
All right. This is Trevoriendow 4086.
Sounds good to me.
Yep. I'm not even going to apologize. Okay. How do you go about hiring your first CSR? I know you've talked about when you're booking 2 calls a day, but if you could get a CSR sooner, would you? I'm assuming you would want to go out and make some money first. Being on nothing but straight commission for the past 7 years, I decided to open up my own company. I started in September, but just trying to be wise with the money I spend.
So if I could afford a CSR, I would hire them day one
Sure.
because it makes your life so much easier.
Yeah.
And I hate answering the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And most plumbers are terrible at answering the phone.
True.
I would probably, as a rule of thumb, I would want to be busy enough. Like I would base it off, I would do the math, really. Ideally, if you're missing out on calls because you're working and can't answer the phone, number one, if you're at somebody's house and you're working, you shouldn't answer your phone. You should be working.
Right.
And so if you're missing out because you can't get to your phone and get that customer booked, as long as you're priced right, chances are, if you're missing a couple jobs a week, it's going to pay for the CSR.
Yeah, if
So
you
you can-
just went to those jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you had somebody to answer the phone.
So you can look at it that way, which I think is a great way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
You could also look at it as like look at your P&L on just if you've got a healthy net margin and you
sure.
go put in the cost of a CSR in there, what does that do to your margin?
Mm-hmm.
Is it still good enough?
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, hire a CSR.
Mm.
The game, like when you're growing your business, you're always going to be dipping into that
Yeah.
net margin
Sure.
to grow.
Yep.
Not always, but in the first, like in the 3 truck phase,
Mhm.
it's almost impossible for the 1 and 2 truck guys to produce enough revenue to grow and make net margins.
Yeah, of course.
So you have to hit a tiny level of scale before you can
Mm-hmm.
budget in growth and still hit net margins.
Yeah, gotcha.
Typically, it's around 3 guys.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just rereading his questions just to make sure if there's anything else in there. Okay, this is from Hacky Mosul 1219. Hey Jared, and he spelled your name right,
Nice.
dude. Hey Jared, when you say your average ticket, do you mean total bill client pays?
Total bill client pays on average
Okay.
between all your tickets.
Yeah, total
So
bills
if you took-
all your clients have paid on average.
If you took all your invoices
Mm.
for the last, you look at average ticket on, through a time span lens.
Yeah, of course.
So you say, okay, for the last 90 days, my average ticket was this.
Mhm.
Or last month, my average ticket was this compared to the last 12 months. That's up or down,
Yeah.
right? So you take
Yeah, sure.
all the invoices from that time period, add them all together,
Mhm.
divide them by the number of invoices
Mhm.
to get an average invoice.
Mhm.
Total, like, job cost, right?
Mhm.
There you go.
What's a good average ticket for like a one truck chuck?
Depends on where you are
Mm.
and what industry you're in and how you're tracking it.
There's
There's so much that goes into it. Like,
yeah.
like if you went and looked at our average ticket, it's like, I believe it's like $3,900
Sure.
over the last 90 days.
Yeah.
But we did a lot of installs and we didn't
Sure.
we didn't separate them in our CRM. So
Yeah.
those are all included.
Gotcha. So
If-
that'll throw your average way off,
Well, it's not off.
Well, yeah,
It's
but
just-
if
It's just how you're measuring it.
yeah, if you're talking to me and I don't know exactly how you're measuring it, then I'll be like, holy crap, that's insane. My
Yeah.
average ticket's $600 and all I've done is toilet flappers
Yep.
for a month or whatever.
Yep. Some guys look at service average ticket. Some guys look at global average ticket. Some guys look at install average ticket. So you really need to know what you're looking at. And you're going to look at it for different reasons,
Yeah.
which is going to cause you to look at it different ways,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
And if you go look at it at a different time period, like
Mm.
if you look at ours last 90 days, it's really high. But if you go back 365, it drops to like 25.
Yeah.
Goes down $1,000.
Yeah.
So
So if I'm trying to flex on my bros, then I'm gonna
yeah, if you're
go
trying to
with the
like
high,
sound cool on social media, you'll go find the sweet date and
Yeah.
it'll be like, check out my average ticket.
Yeah.
And you
Screenshot.
want-
Ka-ching.
Yeah, and you want to show the dates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll blur it out on your graph.
Dude, I've literally seen people do that
Yep.
in Facebook groups.
And then they're just like, here's like the ramp.
yeah, I
And
don't
it
want
was
to.
from like Monday to Tuesday, like, or whatever,
Yeah, and I always want to comment. How come you blurred out the dates?
Yeah.
How come, like,
Yeah.
why not show the whole picture?
Yeah. Come on now. I know, especially when you're somebody, because typically it's like a service Titan screenshot. And typically you're like, I know what's underneath those numbers. And it's
Yeah.
nothing that would be sensitive to your business that you're not already showing me.
Unless you're trying to fudge your numbers here.
Yeah. So a little hot tip if you're out there sharing info on the social medias, trying to be cool, probably the more transparency you have, this probably makes you seem cooler. Or
Well,
at least more trustworthy.
it's because some of these guys, if they were to be transparent, they don't actually make any money.
Yeah. Which is too bad.
It is.
So let's go into that just a little bit. Is like, so why know your average ticket? Like what's the why here?
So it's super helpful it's helpful in a lot of reasons. Probably the main reason that I use it is I want to watch the trend, right?
Okay.
So it's one of the KPIs that I'll look at.
Hmm.
There's only a few that I look at. I'll call that a PI. The KPI is your P&L.
Okay.
The other things are performance indicators.
Yeah, sure.
They're not really key to anything. Like
Yeah.
you're not just going to look at your average ticket and it just blows your mind and tells you all this stuff about your business. You could tell me any business's average ticket and I couldn't tell you what to do about it.
And you'd be like, cool?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. But if I looked at your P&L,
Yeah.
I'd be like, then I would go, oh, well, let's go look at these other
Yeah, sure.
performance indicators and see how you're doing.
Mhm.
So the main way that I use it is when I'm looking at my customer acquisition cost. So if you're
Sure,
looking at a marketing channel, right? And it's like, it costs me $150 to get a customer from this marketing channel. I have my marketing budget set at 10%. My average ticket is $2,500, means I can spend up to $250 to get a customer. I look at this. I look at it each marketing channel, but then I also look at it just globally. Like what did I spend on marketing? How many phone calls did that bring in? How many jobs did that book? What was my average ticket? That's what I would look at there.
Yeah.
And just make sure it's not too high.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. That's helpful.
Yeah. We're at I think we're at $105 to bring in a customer acquisition cost.
Just a general,
Yeah.
out of all marketing channels, that's sort of your average. That seems like super low.
And then,
Like in a good way.
no. So it's like 6%, 5 to 6% of gross revenue on marketing. Which is, I would say, at the company size of prospector is probably normal.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
When you're small, you got to spend more,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah.
But when you hit that like 3 million mark, it becomes hard to spend all that money.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of like wealthy plumber costs to acquire a customer.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah, it's retarded.
Yeah. It's asinine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a that might be an indication of the health of your business model too. If you find out that what's the Hormozy formula? The lifetime gross profit over cost to acquire a customer.
I think it's 3 times more. So 4x, I think, is how you would think about it.
And that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. So like if it's $1,000
Yeah.
to get a customer, you need to be able to make 3,000
Yeah.
lifetime gross profit.
Yeah. And that can give you sort of your
after your cogs.
Yeah, after your cogs.
Yeah.
Yes, after
Yes.
not just like because that's a trap that you fall into. Is you're like, oh yeah, it only cost us on our ad spend to get this customer, and then this is how much we made or whatever.
Yeah.
When you're not making any money, and that can help you determine how aggressively you can scale.
Yeah.
If you have a really high metric modifier, then it's like, oh man, we'll scale.
That does not apply for home service.
Yeah.
Do not use that rule.
Yeah, it just came into my brain.
I mean, maybe you could use that rule after your cogs, but I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Because our average lifetime gross profit per customer is, I believe, last time I checked, it was like $3,800, and that's after cogs. But it was still that we're paying $105 per customer. We have so many like overhead costs in our businesses that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Yeah. No comprende.
Okay. That's cool. Can we get a Thanksgiving episode of Nothing But Jared's Extreme View? Oh, sorry. Hold on. This is from Gilio Marina. And this is the question. I love this question, by the way. Can we get a Thanksgiving episode of Nothing But Jared's Extreme Views?
No.
I mean, oh, come on. Yes, please. That's what I wanted to say. That'd be a good Thanksgiving Day present for me.
I think I answered that comment and I said, no, it'll be way too long.
Dude, no way. Now we have to do that one. I'm going to have to circle that one.
At Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just going to be Jared's Extreme Views. I'm really excited for this one.
We're going to have to write down all my extreme views.
Dude, we're going to have to make up some extreme views. Jared's pretty not extreme on things, everybody. I'm just going to circle that one because it's so good.
I'm not extreme, but I am opinionated.
Well, here we go. So what would you... Give me one Jared Williams extreme view.
Men are men, girls are girls.
Holy shit.
That's extreme these days.
You're fired. You're fired.
I mean...
I guess it is kind of extreme, kind of radical.
I believe the earth was created.
Oh, easy.
That's
killer.
extreme these
I
days.
said 1. Now you're giving me 2.
It's funny because like old school, you know, like what do we call those views?
Normal.
What's a good word? Like normal.
That depends. The creation one, you could argue normal or non-normal. It just depends on who you're talking to.
Okay.
Men are men, girls are girls. That's pretty like normal view.
Yeah.
Up until very recently.
Yes.
But then that's also just sort of like what kind of TV you watch and maybe what city you live in.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun episode. That one's going to blow
It'll
up.
be a fun one.
Okay, this one is from Smiles Plays 9191. Each tech doing 40K per month turnover. Is this big ticket items? Seems crazy high.
40K per tech. Is this big ticket items? Seems crazy high. No, it's not big ticket items. 40K per tech should be no problem. That'd be like minimum. If you're not, if you include big ticket items, it should be higher. Like if you're getting some big ticket items, definitely higher. But you should be able to hit, any and everybody should pretty much be able to hit at least 50K, 40K on the low end, just on service. No big ticket items. If you're not, you likely have a pricing problem.
Gotcha.
You're not charging enough.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be impossible to hit if you were $100 an hour.
Yeah, sure. Maybe do you think it's also maybe they're not doing strictly service? Maybe they got some renovations or I mean it's still a pricing thing, but like
I mean, if you're doing renovations, then
maybe a little like rough ends.
the only way you wouldn't is if I mean, you wouldn't be able to price high enough to hit those because you're doing renovations.
Exactly. Yeah. So that could be another symptom. Where
I could see that.
Where it's like it's not just you're not pricing high enough on your service work. It's just you might just be doing a lot of work that doesn't actually pay very well.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. It's going to be hard to go do renovations and bid it high enough to make margins.
Yeah.
It can be done.
Yeah.
You really got to know your numbers again.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, he's got a pricing problem.
Yeah.
Needs to download our playbook.
Oh yeah. It's a good idea.
www.wealthyplumber.com/playbook. Or if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link in the description. And it's free.
It is free.
And when you give us your email, we'll send it to you. It's in your spam. Afterwards, you can book a call with Joel and say hello.
And I'll go, hey, what's up, man?
And he'll talk you into buying our coaching program.
Yeah, 100%.
That's totally worth it.
Yeah. Unless you have $0, then just get our playbook.
And watch all these podcasts.
Yeah. And then, you'll make some money.
Booyah.
Booyah. All right. This is from, another one from Wally8713. Dang.
Wally. I think he's got a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Curious, what books/podcasts do you read/view besides yours, LOL? We actually don't read our own books or watch our own podcasts. To gain knowledge on running your business. I'm a Gerber fan. I think he's talking about like baby food.
E-Myth. Oh, maybe the toilet.
Oh, maybe that too.
Yeah.
He has to specify which Gerber.
Yeah.
Just seeking venues. I almost read that as Venuses. Just seeking venues that are super relevant and current. Where would you suggest I seek a mentor or person I can be accountable to and them like same? Hard to find serious same like business people that want to move beyond one trucks.
It is. He has a point. It's very hard. You can find all those people in our coaching program.
That's true.
There's
because that's
a couple hundred of them in there.
Because really, all the people that come into our coaching program are the type of people who say, man, it'd be easier if I just had somebody tell me what to do and I was around other people who thought the same way I thought about business.
Yep.
Or are learning to think the same way as I do about business.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'd probably...
So go grab our playbook, sign up for that call with Joel.
Yeah, and that's probably the... Otherwise, I think, I could be wrong, but it seems like it'd be rare or hard to like find a real world mentor.
It's so... Oh, yeah, it's impossible because here's the thing. Like you couldn't pay me enough to mentor you.
Yeah, it just wouldn't be worth it for you.
You couldn't afford what I would need to charge for me to mentor you.
Yeah.
I'd be better off starting a pressure washing business or running a plumbing business.
Yeah.
Right. Because those things are ROI big time on my time.
Yep.
And I can get my time back.
Yep.
I can hire people to do that for me
Mm-hmm.
to no end.
Yeah. Instead of you mentoring people for money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So literally the only reason we have our coaching course is, I don't even know why, because just to give back. That's it.
Sure. Yeah. At this point. Yeah.
Yeah. So the only place you're going to find what this guy is looking for, a community of people, would be in some sort of paid program.
Yeah.
Because you can go to free Facebook groups and they're littered with people who aren't really serious about their business because they're free. There's no cost to get in.
Yep.
And so the discussions in the Facebook groups are of lower quality. The advice you get in Facebook groups is a lot of times really poor advice.
Everybody is right in their own eyes in the Facebook group.
Yeah.
There's really even if you go to like our Facebook group or Tommy Mello's or whomever's,
Doesn't
there's still a
matter.
bunch of people in there who have no idea whose group they just joined. And so they'll spout out stuff that is not even close to what the founder of that group would typically talk about.
Right.
Sort of interesting.
Yep.
But when you join a paid program, and it's kind of like arguably like, it's almost like the more expensive it is, you're going to find, like, this probably isn't true across the board, but it's like if you had to pay a lot of money to get in there,
Oh, yeah.
then you're probably going to be with much more serious people.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like for you, Wally, like if you really want to find high quality, then look for really expensive programs and you'll probably find higher quality people, potentially higher quality help. It's kind of tough on that.
The hard part on that is you don't want to get in, you want to get into a group of like-minded people.
True.
Or
Yeah.
with people that are just a little bit further along than you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You don't want to spend a ton of money for somebody who's doing like 100 million and beyond.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna miss.
You're not going to be able to relate.
No.
Yeah.
And they're not gonna be able to, not really gonna know how to help you that much.
Yes.
Because they're gonna be like, well,
They could be really good. But if you're in a group with a bunch of people doing 100 million, 50 to 100 million, and you're back here struggling to get to a million,
yeah.
the discussions that they're having in that group aren't going to be that applicable to you trying to get to a million.
Yeah.
It's a different discussion.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Join a paid group. That's what I would do.
Yep. Okay. Oh, this is another one from Hacky Mosul, 1219. Hey Jared, what do you do when you get a call from an organization that only make payments certain times of week? Or if a client is not on site when work is complete, how do you collect payments?
So the first one, if they only make payments certain times a week,
Yeah.
we let them make their payment. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's like,
When you're dealing with a non-residential customer, you have to abide by their payment terms.
yeah, sure, of course.
So we always, whenever we get a commercial customer, we always ask them what their payment terms are. And then we tell them what our payment terms are. And if they want to use our service, then they're going to have to use our payment terms.
Gotcha.
And if they don't want to, then we don't do service with them.
What's an example of a payment term you would not accept?
90 days.
Okay, gotcha.
I'd say no.
Yeah.
Like, not going to happen.
Yeah.
I'm
She's
not
gotta
going to
float all that money
Yeah,
for
for
materials
90
and time
days.
and all that stuff. Yeah.
I'll go serve somebody else who's going to pay me today.
Yeah. 90 days is a long time.
Yeah. So for commercial, we go 30 days. That's maximum. Anything over that, we just don't do it.
Yeah.
If there's you'll also get companies that call you, they're like maintenance companies that do, so like Sportsman's Warehouse is a fine example. They hire a maintenance company to do all their maintenance globally.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe not globally, nationally, we'll
Yeah.
say.
Yep.
That company then calls plumbing companies in the towns that they're in, and they try to hire them to go do this work. And they require you to like call and clock in, and they don't pay for drive time, and
Holy
they pay a
moly.
maximum of this.
Yeah, of course,
You
because
gotta
they have a
fill out
budget
all-
they got to keep,
Yeah, and you got to fill out all this paperwork and la-di-da-di-da. We don't do those.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the second part is, how do you take payment from a customer if they're not there? Like if you start the work and they're there and then they dip out and then you're finished and they're not around, what do
It's
you
the
do?
most frustrating thing on the planet. You call them,
Sure.
number one.
Like the technician does?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. 'Cause then they can tell them what happened and
Call
what they
them.
did. And
Call them twice. Text them twice.
double dial.
And then if you absolutely can't get a hold of them, like we tell our technicians, if you get a copy of my SOPs, they're floating out there somewhere. If you join our course, you definitely get them. But in the technician's SOPs, it's like get paid no matter what. Like
Sure.
call twice, text twice.
Yeah.
I don't care if you got to meet them at the bank. Do whatever you got to do to get paid.
Yeah.
Because the chances of you getting paid when you leave go way down.
And it's going to start to suck time and attention from other people in the organization to chase
Yes.
that payment.
Yes.
And that's no fun for anybody.
No. So get paid at all costs. Like make sure your customer knows that they need to pay at the end of service.
Yeah.
That would be helpful. Then they know they need to stick around.
Mhm.
And then if you absolutely can't collect payment, that's when the technician passes it on to the CSR.
Yeah.
And the CSR just follows up every single day
Yeah.
trying to get that payment.
Yeah.
Emails, phone calls, texts. Emails, phone calls, texts.
Yeah.
Trying to get paid.
What-
If you're on a CRM, you can automate the email portion of it.
cool.
That's what we did.
Yeah.
We set up a 12, I think it's 12, no, it's 18 emails
Oh, dang. That's a lot.
that just
Holy
keep
crap. Every
emailing
day?
every single day
Yeah.
until they pay.
Mm.
And typically they'll call in after they get a bunch of emails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happens if you can't ever get payment?
Send them to collections.
Gotcha. Does it cost you money? Like, how do you even do that? You got to call collections?
Yes. Yeah. So the collections agency we used, they had an online portal. You would go enter in the information. You would upload a copy of the invoice and you would send it to collections. Once it's at collections, you have to mark it in your system legally, sent to collections, $0 balance.
Mm.
And then collections handles it. Collections, when they get their money, they're pretty good at getting money.
Yeah. How does that work? Like what? Like
They'll garnish things. So like it was especially
wow, they can
effective
garnish things? Holy crap. How do
Yeah.
they have the power to do that?
because they legally owe you money if they signed you. They signed.
They signed a thing.
They signed a thing saying they would pay you this money.
Yeah, and then they didn't. And so then collections then has power from the government and whomever to say, cool, I'm going to take chunks of your money. Wow.
I don't know what they're allowed to take, but in Alaska, we have the permanent fund dividend that they would take parts of.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
does it hit your credit score? Do you know,
Yeah.
as an
Oh,
individual?
yeah. So I would, like, we don't just willy-nilly send them to
Yeah,
collections.
of course.
After 90 days, after 60 days, we send them a letter in the mail and we send them emails and we give them phone calls, letting them know they're going to get sent to collections. At 90 days, they get sent in.
Yeah. Since you send them to collections, you probably don't get 100% of that.
No, you get 70%. They take 30.
Okay. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll be different depending on what collection agency you're using, but
Gotcha.
it's a big hit.
Yeah.
But some money's better than no money.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Okay, this is from
That's why you take 50% down on bigger jobs.
True. Yeah, there you
Yes. And a lot of people are probably going to comment, that's illegal. I don't care. I don't know. You see people comment that's illegal in California, but then a lot of people say there's a workaround. If you deliver the material, you can say the material cost was 50% of the job and you can bill material once you get material on site. If that's what you have to do, I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't be shy.
Yeah, don't be shy. Remember, you're in business to make money.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Christopher Duke, 1962.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You think he's that old?
I don't know. Christopher Duke, let us know.
It's like my dad's age.
Dang. Okay. How do you incentivize your guys to sell the memberships? Do they get a cut of the $99?
No, that would be a terrible idea.
Yeah, a sporf. I think that's what that's called, right?
Spiff.
A spliff?
A spiff. Do you remember what that stands for?
Yeah, super fricking with the PH. Incredibly.
It's
Personal.
SPIFF, but the last F has nothing to do with it.
Oh, it's like one of those like where
Yeah.
they put the second F so that you can call it a spiff. Because if you just
Yeah.
had one F, you'd be like spiff?
Spife? I don't
Spiffy?
know.
Like you'd be confused.
Yeah. No. The incentive they have is they have that commission structure in place that we talked about earlier on this call. and they can use the membership as a way to discount to sell more work.
Yeah. It's their discounting. It's their only discounting mechanism.
Yes, that's how you get them to sell memberships.
Yeah.
Don't allow them to discount any other way.
Yeah.
If you were to give them a portion of the $99, it's going to ruin your culture and it's going to ruin your profits. The $99, if you do $99 and you don't, there's no, there's nothing in there that you're giving them that costs you money, then yeah, but the problem, here's what's going to happen. You're going to track that. Number one, it's going to be a nightmare to track.
Yeah, sure.
You're
Especially
gonna,
at scale.
And you're going to mess it up one day. And you're gonna lose the trust of your employees.
Yeah, because they're going
to
money.
notice, and then that loss of trust is going to hurt your culture. So I would avoid it.
Yeah,
at all costs.
Yeah, I like to put it like, don't incentivize side quests.
Yeah.
There's only reward for the main thing.
Yes,
and you give like the membership in this case, your technician is just a tool to accomplish the main goal of driving revenue.
Correct.
And you say you should use that tool. It's a really good tool to use.
Yeah, if you give them a spiff to sell memberships, then the focus becomes to sell memberships.
Yeah.
Not drive revenue and customer satisfaction.
Yeah, it takes their focus off the main thing.
Yes.
Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but then it really works itself into other stuff too.
Yeah.
Okay. This is from Janiel Rodriguez, 6281. It's pretty good. How much as an owner do you take home net monthly with a $5 million plumbing business?
How much do you take home net monthly with a $5 million plumbing business?
Yeah.
So I'm guessing she's asking about my plumbing business that I had.
Yeah.
How much I took home.
Yeah.
So it varied greatly. Some months it would be 16,000. Some months it would be 280,000. So
yeah, sure, of course, because
it depends on the month. And for any other business, it's going to depend on your margins.
of course.
Probably the last 6 months that I owned my business, margins were a lot more consistent because we went from figuring our hourly rate by dividing, basically saying, here's our cost to run our business, dividing that by how many hours we have available to bill, and then just marking up materials to hit a certain margin on the P&L. We switched to just margin pricing. So our labor costs us this much, our materials cost us this much. We know we need to hit a certain margin on our P&L, so that's what this costs. When we made that change and we implemented these commission structures, profit margins, like net, were way more steady.
Yeah.
And that's when I hit it wasn't quite 280, I think it was 247. It was our biggest net month ever.
Dang.
It was the last month that I owned it.
Yeah.
But typically, we would bring in if you're talking including my paycheck, it would be like 1.2 million a year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And so theoretically, you as the owner, could you pocket that 1.2 million? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your business. It's your profit.
Yeah.
Would that be a good idea? Maybe, maybe not.
I mean, if you've got cash set aside already, then yeah, pocket away.
Yeah, like cash set aside like for the business if things go weird.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That's what everybody forgets. Like,
Yeah.
you spend 2 years building this business. The third year, it finally makes really good money, but you got to save it all in the business
Yeah.
because you need it there.
Yeah, you're not quite there yet.
Yeah.
To be able to just take the windfall.
And then the next year, you get to finally keep some money.
Yeah, that's why whenever I pitch like the guys like the $3 million revenue business at 30% net margins,
Yep.
they're keeping $1 million. I always say like now the second year you're keeping $1 million. So that first year of hitting those margins consistently, you can still pay yourself a lot of money and put a bunch into a rainy day fund.
Yeah.
And then that next year, you're much more free to be able to just take that $1 million for yourself.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like Prospector, that business, I believe. So we made some changes relatively soon before we sold it that we've gotten to see pan out over the last few months, that I'm continuing to get to see pan out through the new owner, that I believe that business will do 6 million at 2 million net.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Very shortly.
Super cool.
Maybe even higher net. I think we could have done 5 million at 1.9 million net.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man. Huh, that's cool.
Yep. So the business owner that has a $3 million business at $1 million net is very possible.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of like the stuff we talked about earlier.
Yeah, and just making and thinking about efficiency and all the stuff that we typically talk about.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, this is called big family pools. A couple of things. How do you attract build labor hours versus actual labor time when you bill out at flat rate?
So this is what I would call. So there's two types that you need to track. You need to track. I'm yawning. I'm tired.
It's funny. The comment I was reading is referencing that.
I know. I put that in there.
Hey, bro, you need to take a nap.
I knew it was coming up, so I gave him a yawn.
Yeah. Gotta get your yawns in there.
Yeah. I'm tired, dude.
I know.
Work hard, you know?
Yeah, I know. You're up
Work is
early.
tough.
You're doing your pull-ups, your push-ups.
I haven't done any today.
Oh, we should probably do them after this podcast. I'll
Dude,
do them with you.
I'm going to die.
No, we're going to do just 100 and we're not going to do any pull-ups.
Wait, what?
Nothing. Go on.
Okay. So to answer his question, you need a CRM. That's it. You need to get on Service Titan or...
Oh, sure, because he's asking a tracking question. Yeah.
Right. Yep. And that way everything is tracked.
Yeah.
Time on site is all tracked.
Because otherwise you'd have to what? Just like have guys write down stuff and look at it?
You would never.
Add it up?
No. And so Service Titan will tell you job time efficiency. They call it billable efficiency. That's one you need to look at. It's on the dashboard. You want it to be at least 80%. You really want it to be 100%. That means that your time on site versus time estimated, if it's 100%, you did it right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? 100% right. If you did it 80%, you're only 80% right. So you're underbidding by 20%. You can't survive less than that. You're going to die.
Gotcha.
Okay. If you find that is low, it's typically because you're underbidding or because you don't have enough time on your tasks in your price book.
Gotcha.
Okay. The other one you need to track is I call it billable efficiency. We'll call it global efficiency. It would be how many hours you build out versus how many hours, I would say 2,000 hours per technician versus how many hours they actually build out. That would be their billable efficiency.
Gotcha.
And you can do that for the whole company and each individual technician. If you want them to bill out more hours, it's raining outside. Hopefully I didn't leave my van door open.
You did.
I did?
Yeah.
Hopefully somebody closes it. It's going to be an epic mess in there.
Especially he's got those boxes in there.
Dude, my ammo's going to get wet.
Dude, you should probably just...
I mean, we're good.
Okay.
It's closed.
We can... Okay.
I like the confidence.
I mean, I walked by it, and I'm thinking, like, who here would close it? Costin didn't close it. I know that. Did Brooklyn go out and close it? No.
Yeah, she probably did.
Maybe.
Okay. Billable efficiency, like global efficiency. If that's low, like number one, the higher you get that's really your efficiency number for your business. Like when you take your cost per employee, okay, how much an employee costs you, then you're going to take your billable efficiency and you're going to adjust how much they cost you based on your billable efficiency. This is how you come up with an hourly rate.
Okay, gotcha.
You're going to then take that number and you're going to adjust for the margin that you need to hit on your P&L, and that's going to be how much you charge per hour.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
If your billable efficiency is low, your global efficiency, if it's low, the thing you need to work on is job time efficiency.
Sure.
So if you go look at that and that's low, well, if you increase job time efficiency, your billable efficiency is automatically going to get better.
Yeah, which doesn't necessarily mean you tell your guys, you guys got to go faster.
No, it's not. It's not faster whatsoever. It's making more of every opportunity.
Yeah, of course.
Increasing conversion rates. It's putting the system in place for them to do better in. Yeah, it's really what it is.
I think, at least for me, when I hear efficiency, my brain automatically goes to speed. And it's
not speed.
It goes there and then it has to get reeled back to no, efficiency is lots of things. It's not just how fast how many tasks can you accomplish in a certain amount of time.
You can yell and push and poke and prod it and provide sales training to your guys all you want.
Yeah.
And it'll help a teeny bit. Or you can just go back into your business and say, I don't have enough hours on this task. So
Yeah.
I'm actually just screwing myself by not
Yeah.
putting enough time on this.
Yeah.
And then I don't have a commission structure in place. So my guys are out in the field underbidding everything because they don't have any reason to not.
Yeah.
Right. And so now because of the system you created, you're hurting your billable efficiency. Then you try to make up with it with a higher hourly rate.
Yeah.
And again, you enter into that cycle of conversion rates are down. Now
Right.
I got to increase billable rate again.
Right.
And on and on and on and on.
Right.
And it's your fault.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with your guys going faster. None of that.
And you probably don't want to look at it like, well, I could do it this task in this time. How come
Yeah.
they can't do it in this time?
Yeah. Correct.
Okay.
Rain's over. We're good.
Dude, we're so good. Okay, this is Channel Dreams 8759. Question.
Dreams.
Question asterisk. How do you prioritize marketing expenses? If you only had $5,000 or $10,000 per month marketing budget to start out, how would you spend it? Asterisk.
If I only had $5,000 to $10,000 starting out, how would I spend it?
Yeah.
So first, I would make sure that I'd probably go hire a marketing company.
With some of that money, that 5 and 10?
If I had $5,000, yes. So if you go to, like, I know my brother owns a marketing company. He'll do different packages for you. He's got one package that's really cheap that is just like literally getting
bare
you
bones.
Facebook, not Facebook. Yeah, getting your socials, your GMB, GLSA, and your website going. And that's all they do. They just get it going and that's it. That's cheap. And then getting you listed everywhere so that you're findable on the internet. That would be my first course of action. And then I would spend money on GLSA
Gotcha.
if that's all I had. I would probably take a tiny portion of that budget and put it on Facebook ads to a really small audience.
And would those Facebook ads just be to start to generate brand presence?
Brand awareness, yep.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yep.
Just to start that. The quicker you start doing the brand game, the sooner you'll eventually have brand presence.
Correct.
Yeah.
The tough part about that is like this person really needs to start with a good brand. And that's going to cost some money.
Yeah.
So if I had $10,000 the first month, I might go get my brand done first.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yep.
Okay, hey man, can you quit yawning?
Dude, I can't do
Hacky
it.
Mosel 1219 has asked me to tell you to stop yawning and have a nap for the next podcast.
I
So
thought that was funny.
if you could just, get a couple more naps in. If you could be well napped, that'd be appreciated.
I'm well napped today.
Nice, dude. Did you take a nap?
No.
Do you take naps?
Yes. Right before bed on the couch.
Do you really?
Dude. So we'll sit down and we'll like my wife likes to read. She can read while the TV's on.
Oh, dude, I can't do that. No
Me
way.
neither.
My wife, I'll be in bed trying to read, and my wife will have a show on that I don't even like.
Do you have a TV in your bedroom?
Nah, she's watching on her phone.
Oh.
And then I'll like hear the thing, even if I don't want to watch the show or care about
Here's one of my extreme political views.
it. Oh, crap.
If you have a TV in your bedroom, something's wrong with you.
Yeah, I don't have a TV in my bedroom.
Well, I didn't say something's wrong with you.
Oh,
I'm
thank
just
God.
saying if you have like I don't know in what world people are going to bed and clicking on the TV.
Or you just watch it on your phone. That's what most people do.
You know how bad that is for you? Getting all that
Who cares,
getting
bro?
all that light into your
Everything's
eyeballs.
bad for me. I'm going to die anyway. I might as well be entertained along the way.
That just ruins your sleep. Like if I did that, I'd be yawning today on this podcast. Hands down.
Yeah, but the point is it's really hard to read while the TV's going.
Yes.
Is your wife consuming the TV and reading at the same time?
No.
Okay.
No.
Gotcha. That would be like...
Anyway, if I sit on the couch and turn the TV on, I'm napping. It's like I'm not watching a show. I'm napping.
Yeah. And then you get up and you go to bed.
Yeah.
My dad would do the same. I'd always be like, Dad, what are you napping for? It's like, it's your bedtime. He's like, oh, I'm just getting rested enough so I can go to bed.
It's one of my favorite things to do is to
really?
fall asleep on the couch.
No, I hate falling asleep on the couch.
Dude, I freaking love it. My wife hates it.
I don't think this is going to work. I can't do it.
I'll fall asleep on the couch and she'll be like, hey, let's go to bed. I'm like, oh, I was just sleeping.
Once
just
you
getting a
wake me
little
up,
pre-
I just get
little pre-nap in.
A little pre-nap, and then I'm going to go take a real long nap.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, cool. Okay. Okay, this is from Mike Zoo9KE.
Nice.
Jared, thanks as always for the content. I have a question. Do you prefer to lease or own your service vehicles?
Haha. Good question. I guess if I had the option between leasing and owning, I would prefer to own. The only way I would lease if I was going to lease from myself.
Whoa.
The reason I want to own is I want to get the depreciation on the vehicle.
And you can only get depreciation if you own?
If you own it.
Can you depreciate a certain amount that you own?
Yes.
Like
here's the thing. If you lease a vehicle, the payment for the vehicle is an expense.
Okay.
If I buy the vehicle, I can depreciate. The payment for the vehicle is no longer an expense, right? The loan payment is no longer an expense.
Okay.
But I can depreciate a larger portion of the vehicle on my tax bill the first year.
If you own it?
If I own it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So what we did with our new pressure washing company is I started a leasing company that buys the vehicles, that leases them to the pressure washing company.
So
that's the best way to do it.
So then you can depreciate your income through your leasing company.
So pressure washing company, it's an expense to lease the vehicles. So the money goes from the pressure washing company to the leasing company. Don't pay taxes on it there. And then...
You don't pay taxes on expenses?
No.
Okay.
It's an expense.
Okay.
Right? You take your total income minus your expenses. That's your net.
Gotcha.
You pay taxes on your net.
Okay. Got it.
And then when it hits the leasing company, that's income. But then we depreciate it and don't pay taxes on that income again.
Gotcha.
So you get that. You get to avoid taxes on that income twice instead of just once.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah. That only, do not do that if you're only going to have 4 or 5 vans. It only makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
If you're going to get 10 plus vans.
Yeah, if you're going to go big.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at some point you'll fully have depreciated the vehicles. And then what do you do?
Yeah.
Then there's no more tax advantage. Now you're just making money at your leasing company and you're still leasing the vans from the other company, so that's fine.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you're getting a loan on them from your leasing company, by the time they're paid off, you're going to be buying new ones and the cycle's going to start over again.
Yeah, sure.
But if you have 5 vans, the amount of money you save in taxes is not worth the headache of setting it all up.
Yeah, and
that's what it is.
And then, and if you only have 5 vans, your attention is probably going to make you more money just to devote into the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
Instead of a leasing company that's kind of complex and now this other thing.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Splitting attention can be valuable, but a lot of times it's just going to lose you money. Depends on where you at within your business.
It adds up
scale.
It adds up to big money.
Yeah.
If you think about we want to grow the pressure washing company to 200 vehicles and so let's say it's $2,500 a month per vehicle. Dude.
Math time.
Where's the I don't even have my phone. Screw it. Can't do it.
It's like infinity.
I'm not going to do it.
It's probably infinity dollars.
It's
at least.
Let's say it's 5,000. There we go. We'll just say it's 100 vehicles at 5,000. Same amount. So that would be what?
Infinity?
5 million.
That was close.
That you avoid taxes on.
Yeah, that's a lot. Yeah, cool.
So if you're in the 30% tax bracket, it's a lot of dough. It's 300,000 times 5. It's a ton of money.
Yeah.
That you get to do that twice now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You want to do any more? Save these bad boys for the next one.
Dude, what's the next one?
The next one, we're halfway through this page. Okay, this is from Geo32. If a customer is marked in the CRM as do not service, how do you handle that phone call with that if they reach back out for a future project?
Tell them, sorry, your tag do not service. You must have been a pain in the ass when you called last time. What happened?
Wait, is that verbatim? That's what you tell them?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, typically you're tagging them do not service because they didn't pay you, right?
Yeah.
Or they were just a giant pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And so if they didn't pay you, then I would want to know, hey, I am not allowed to service you until you pay your bill.
Yeah. And then there's an opportunity to be like, well, if you really need help, pay your old bill, and then we can send a technician out.
Yes.
And then if they can't do it, they're like, all right, well, let me know when you want to pay.
Exactly.
Sounds like you'd probably need a couple extra notes to distinguish if they were a pain in the ass.
Yep.
Because then if they're like, oh, they paid their bills.
Yeah, if they were just a pain in the ass, you have a couple options. You can give them a date that's so far out that they schedule with somebody else, but that likely won't work. That could backfire because they could just say, "Yeah, schedule me in," and then you're like, "Crap,
oh, dang it! Oh, now I gotta do." And then you're gonna have a technician be like, "What am I doing going to DNS person?"
Yeah, I would just tell them we don't service that address.
Oh, interesting. And then what if they're like, "Well, you did before"?
Yeah, we cut it out of our service area. Sorry
Gotcha.
about that. And then I would recommend somebody for them to call. Your favorite competitor.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably how they got your number in the first place.
I've had conversations like this before back when I worked at Wrights, and where there'd just be people that they were just mean.
Yeah.
And the funny thing that what I would tell them, which I don't really recommend, but I would tell them it anyway, is they'd call me like, "Hey man, I want to do this." I'd be like, "Hey, last time you weren't super nice, so we're not going to do anything for you." And they're like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Yeah, last time you were I'm sorry, but you're a dick to everybody.
Yeah.
And I don't want to deal with you." And they get all mad. And it's actually really funny because then they'd be like, well, what if this? I was like, dude, maybe next time you'll be nice, you know? And they're like, fine. And then it's just funny when you tell somebody the real reason. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So, probably not the best recommendation, but
I wouldn't do that because then they're going to go on Google and they're going to say, this guy called me a dick.
yeah,
And
exactly.
you're going to be like, what?
Yep. And then you're going to be like, sorry for this. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you'll be like, yeah, I did call you a dick. But
Well, he was being one. Yeah,
you
but
were
then
being
you
a
don't,
dick.
you don't want to go
but
down
you
that
look
road.
bad on the internet that way.
Yeah.
What you really want is you want them to look bad.
Yeah.
And you to look like most people who leave 1-star reviews look crazy to people coming to look. As long as
Especially if
it's
they're like
not
the
about, if it's about your customer service and how bad it was, and if it's a legitimate review, they don't sound crazy. But if that's the case, you can call them and fix it and get the relationship repaired.
Yep.
The ones who you can't repair the relationship, they sound crazy when they leave you a 1-star review.
Yeah.
And it's the funniest thing to me because it's like you just ruined your own 1-star review.
And then you as a company can respond with something that is
Very nice and
kind
polite.
and courteous and,
Yep, and loving.
And then, everybody is like, well, this person sounds unhinged and this company sounds like they're not responding to it. I think I like this company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an opportunity for you to win.
It is. It really is.
Yeah. It's kind of fun too. Killing with kindness is like the best way.
Kill them with kindness.
Yeah, best way to murder, in my opinion.
Best way to murder.
Yeah, with kindness.
Hopefully
Kindness
YouTube doesn't hear that.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Please,
get shut
YouTube.
down.
Yeah, that's it. Well, there you go.
There you go.
I said killing with kindness. Why'd you clip out the beginning? Okay. This is from Waterman Plumbing, 7715.
Sick.
How do you give a better best on a leak in yard repair?
Leak in yard repair.
Good, better, best.
You could, in most places, you could probably just do a spot repair. In Alaska, that's not an option. They don't allow you to do spot repairs. Mm-hmm. But you could do a spot repair. You could dig up the whole thing. And then I know, depending on where they're at, like you could dig up the whole thing with new valves. Sometimes there's valves, at the street or a meter outside, like here in Pensacola, you could go all the way to a new meter and put a new valve. Mm-hmm. Maybe you can throw in a, like as a third option. I know like up north, like in Alaska, we would run 2 water lines in. There'd be valves and the meter and the PRV and a double check valve, all that inside. And a lot of times if somebody had a break outside, the inside of their system is super old and needs to be upgraded. So you can throw that in as well. Sure. If you don't have that, like you're down here, you could throw in a PRV inside the house as well, or in the meter box if it'll fit. So there you go. 3 options. Bam.
Okay,
and then you can offer those options with a membership.
Yeah, there you go.
So you actually have 6 options.
Yeah. Boom. Okay, this is from Alex Ramirez, 5562. What's your guys' suggestions when you send a link to a customer for a review, but they don't write a review? Do you resend it?
Hell yeah, you resend it. Send it twice. Yeah. So we text it twice. Mm-hmm. We email it twice. Mm-hmm. And then our CSR does a happy call.
Sure, yeah. Yeah.
And asks for it again. Mm-hmm. And she'll even manually text the link again. So there's 5 asks. Don't be afraid to ask.
Yeah, so what I'm hearing is that those reviews are important.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's like the modern currency.
Yeah, we'll make that our last question. And as a last note, I was checking because we're starting a pressure washing company. I was checking our competitors out, and there's a couple here that have. There's like one or two that have reviews in the 200 count,
right?
And then there's a couple here that have reviews in the 100 count. And I was like, I wonder how long it'll take us to catch up with them. So I was looking at the frequency of their reviews.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Just scrolling through.
When was their last review?
Yeah.
Dude, months ago. They're like months apart.
Interesting.
So
probably just not asking, or they don't have a system.
They don't have a system to ask.
Yeah.
So we're going to blow them out of the water in reviews in no time.
Yeah. Especially with all the free work we can do up front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to be killer.
Yeah. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited.
Super dope. Okay. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks for the questions, more questions too, in the comments.
If you have questions, any questions, drop them in the comments down below. Doesn't matter if you're an electrician, HVAC guy, plumber, yard maintenance, pressure washing, whatever, we'll get your question answered. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
Peace.
See you.